Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going on a scientific detective hunt to uncover the mechanics behind and most eerie glitches, déjà vu. You know that sudden, inexplicable wave of familiarity that just washes over you out of nowhere? Unsettling? It's fascinating, and we're going to break down exactly what is happening inside your head when time feels like it's repeating itself.
Picture this. You're just strolling down you never set foot in before. Suddenly, a stranger looks right at you, and in that exact fraction of a second, your heart skips a beat because you know exactly what they're going to say next. You recognize the sounds, the movements, the entire vibe of the environment.
It's every single detail around you suddenly feels unbelievably familiar. For a fleeting few seconds, you'd swear you've lived this exact moment already. But your logical brain chimes in and says, no way, that's completely impossible. I definitely don't know that person. So why is your brain absolutely convinced that you have? Well, we call this strange, powerful sensation déjà vu. It's a French phrase that translates simply to already seen. And man, it's a mystery that has completely fascinated us for centuries, sparking all sorts of late-night philosophical debates about what our reality actually is. If you felt this bizarre glitch, you are definitely not alone. Scientists actually estimate that between 60 and 70% of people will experience it at least once in their lifetime. That is a massive chunk of the population, which makes figuring out how it works pretty darn important for understanding how our minds are operating every single day.
Section 1. The Suspects. Supernatural Myths versus Scientific Reality.
When faced with something this bizarre, human beings naturally reach for profound explanations. For decades, people have sworn it's proof of past lives, a quick peek into a parallel universe, or maybe even evidence that we're living inside a computer simulation. And hey, those are super fun metaphysical ideas. But neuroscience, it offers a reality that is just as mind-blowing, and it's hidden right inside your own head. The mystery, it turns out, isn't out there in the universe, it's in the biological wiring of your brain.
Section 2. The Mechanics. A split-second glitch.
Okay, let's break down how this actually works. Your eyes, your ears, your skin, they're constantly scooping up millions of signals and stitching them together to create your reality. Normally, it's a flawless process, but sometimes the timing gets just a little bit imperfect. When that happens, your memory system makes a tiny slip-up, and a brand new experience gets accidentally stamped with a familiar label. Scientists call this the memory mismatch theory. It's basically a processing error involving the hippocampus and the temporal lobe, which are the parts of your brain that handle memories. Then there's another really cool idea called the split-second delay theory. Picture a literal foot race happening inside your head. Your brain gets the exact same sensory info twice, separated by just a tiny fraction of a second. That first, faster signal feels like a memory you're recalling, while the second one, arriving a millisecond later, feels like the present moment. When those two signals crash into each other, boom, you get that overpowering illusion of déjà vu.
Moving on to Section 3, the evidence. Who experiences it most?
Looking at the demographic data gives us a huge clue here. There's this massive spike in reports of déjà vu among young adults, specifically right between the ages of 15 and 25. Older adults experience it way less. Why is that? Well, researchers think it's because young brains are processing and storing new experiences at incredibly rapid speeds. And because the engine is running so fast, there's simply way more chances for those tiny memory mismatches to pop up.
But it's not just about how old you are. Everyday life plays a massive role too. Things like a serious lack of sleep, high stress, or just pure mental exhaustion can really mess with how your brain processes information. When you're totally wiped out, your brain's timing becomes way more vulnerable to those split-second delays. So being tired or stressed out literally increases your chances of triggering that déjà vu glitch.
Section 4. The lineup. False memories and illusions. To really crack this mystery, we have to rethink everything we assume about memory. It's not like a video recording you just hit play on, it's an active reconstruction. Just look at the Mandela Effect, where huge groups of people remember logos or movie quotes completely differently from reality. That happens because every time you pull up a memory, your brain rebuilds it, kind of pasting over the missing bits with logical guesses. Psychologists have even shown they can implant completely false memories in people. The big takeaway? Feeling 100% certain about a memory doesn't actually mean it's accurate.
And that brings us to Section 5, the resolution, solving the ultimate mystery.
So how do we know for sure it's the physical brain pulling the strings? The evidence is actually super compelling. Modern brain imaging shows that a tiny electrical disruption between the hippocampus and temporal lobe can artificially create that false feeling of familiarity. In fact, doctors treating temporal lobe epilepsy have found that stimulating certain brain regions can instantly trigger intense déjà vu in a patient without changing anything in the room. And get this, modern AI systems make the exact same kind of errors, confusing brain new data for something they already learned. Both of these points confirm that this isn't supernatural, it's just a mechanical glitch in the system.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to take this thought with you. The next time you get hit with that crazy wave of familiarity, remember, you aren't seeing the future, you aren't traveling through time, you're just witnessing one of the most fascinating illusions ever created by the human brain. It's really just a testament to this incredibly powerful biological machine inside your head, a machine that usually flawlessly creates reality, but occasionally just mixes up one moment for another. But that still leaves us with one final, profound mystery to chew on. If we know for a fact it's just a neurological glitch, a tiny delay in processing, why on earth does it feel so unbelievably deeply real when it happens? Even after a century of science, the mind still refuses to give up all its secrets. It really makes you wonder, what other hidden mysteries is your brain keeping from you? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning that incredible reality your mind creates every single day.